Good day, and welcome to. There goes my froggy voice. Welcome to Coffee with Tigg and Friends, volume number 115 for June 23rd, 2019. Um, I don't really have a lot to talk about again this morning, so I'm going to take care of it as quickly as possible, get the show done. Because I have other things, not important things, actually to do with the shows and stuff. Things pop in my head all the time to test out and try, and before I put it on the show. A lot of this stuff doesn't work, so it doesn't go on the shows at all. So that's why you never see it, because I never. It doesn't work out. That's just the thing to do with a lot of things. I actually record a lot of shows and to make sure that they actually work. Um, but today is the 115th version of volume of this. And you say, how's the weekly show be? Have 115 episodes, and I've only been doing this for a little over a year. Well, it started out as a weekly video blog of what I was doing that day in sim racing, and I did it every day for like 2 or 3 months, and then I cut it down to once a week just to talk about the news and stuff, because who wants to watch an old man ramble on about what he's doing? Anyway, the goals for the year to 2020 are up there still. As you notice, the lines are getting a little bit more red every day, so that's a good thing. We're getting more followers, more subscribers. Like I said, if you're on YouTube and you like what you see, hit the follow button on YouTube, hit the like button and the subscribe button. And if you want to be reminded when I come online, please hit the bell. I don't know why I'm sitting here holding that. There's also, well, that goes in. If you'd like to support the Tigg in any way, shape, or fashion, all the links are below. Also, all the links where to find me are below, including my Steam account and my World of Trucker account. You can also buy. I gotta cut my fingernails. You can also buy Tigg merchandise, the mug. And there's T-shirts also, so you can probably wear the Tigg T-shirt around. People wonder what the hell that is. Or just some crazy ass old man on the internet, and that's that. So you can enjoy your coffee with the Tigg in your coffee in a Tigg mug. There you go. Anyway, that's all the business out of the way. Sponsorship is always welcomed and wholeheartedly thanked. Without my sponsors, the shows would not be possible at all. Um, at all. Period. End of question. What the next big thing that is on the shopping list is a high def cam, so we can get away from this just cheap cam that's up here. That's just a standard def, and using my cell phone for the close-ups, for the face forward. Just have one cam. That's the next big thing. I've found a couple that might work, but they're not in the budget, so sponsorship is always welcomed to take care of little things like that. On with the news. I should have loaded this up a minute ago, but here we go. We're gonna pull up. I should have pulled this up before I start the show. Usually, what I talk about on the Sunday shows is what I share on the Facebook page. So if you want to see everything I'm going to talk about before I talk about it, that's the best place to go, because I scroll right through it. Of course, not a lot this week. A few little things here and there. Talk about the F1 2019 game, which I'm not a fan of. That particular game set, so I don't really post. I don't follow it on anywhere, so I don't post a lot on it. But there's a lot of talk about it, so look forward to that. It's probably coming out in the next few months. They're always behind the schedule. I don't know why. I remember when the NASCAR sim games came out, they were pretty much coincide with the season opener or their month. So that's my opinion on the subject. Of course, there's the information on buying the mug, the information for buying any merchandise. The advertiser for this show, little thing I just I think this is self-explanatory sometimes when I'm talking on my shows. That's why you don't when you, sometimes you'll tune in and I'm just sitting there driving the truck or the race car. That's why. I thought it was cute and funny, kind of fit me pretty much to the T. King Mad Dog, he's got his thing going on Twitch. He's got his iRacing going on. I'm glad he advertises over here. Keep it up, buddy. More the merrier. So there you go. Last night's Truck Simulator show ran for 3.5 hours last night. You know, it wasn't because my back's been bothering me. And the more time I spend in this chair, I think the more time my back bothers me. I think I got to figure out how to get more seated a little bit better. Maybe I'm up too high. Maybe I'm up too down too low. Who knows? But got to figure out how to keep my back from hurting. Um, Somebody just went live. Uh, cool little mod, 74 Dodge Monaco. I don't share a lot of the street cars for Assetto Corsa, but when a cool old one comes along, I usually share it, and that's this one. I don't remember if I downloaded it or not, so. Brian Zirkle commented on it. Brian Zirkle, if you don't know, was the former owner of Zirkle Motorworks, which was Tundra Motorsports back in the heyday of NASCAR Racing 2003 season. Fred, Dave's posting up a few hot laps. The spotter guide for the semi-truck racing, which is, Shane Lake commented that if they aired this in the States, it might be a hit. It probably would be a hit because, but they should try actually driving them here. We have quite a lot of 1.5 to 2 mile tracks that these things would fit perfectly on. They're not much faster than a WTC, BTC type car, but they're a lot bigger. um, Truck snaps from the streams. I've got some more to share again today when I'm done. Friday night, I actually have done. I've done about 33 hours, including last night, of streaming in a week, plus about 10 to 15 hours of behind the scenes work that you guys don't see. Because sometimes I just don't. It doesn't work out, or it's just little things like arranging this stuff up there so it's not so big, but it's still pretty big. But I'm going to leave it like it is because it really doesn't block the screen. It's little things like that. You'd be surprised how long it takes to actually move that stuff around on a little screen to fit the big screen. It sometimes it's one little move, and then I got to move like 15 little lines to get it to fit. So there you go. I actually hooked this button up here on my wheeler. That is actually the trailer brake for American Truck Simulator. That's why that's now hooked up. You see it flashing. That's what that is. That took me a minute to set. That took a minute to set up, but that's just something I did. rFactor 2 Studio 397. They're actually doing their own little 24-hour Le Mans in a couple of weeks on July 26th at 1500 CEST time. Don't ask me. I don't know. Time. They keep changing time zones, and I keep getting confused. Brad talking about the stuff over at Stenod Racing. He's starting to get in our. After me telling him for about a year about him, he's finally getting involved in that. There's a Newhouse, Newgarden. Joseph Newgarden was on Ridiculous this weekend, so if they rerun that, check it out. He's a pretty interesting guy. I didn't get to watch it, but Fox is now live on with Darrell Waltrip being. I didn't click load it. I'm not going to load it. An advertisement for the 6-hour show I did on Saturday or Thursday. I drove actually last night. I drove to Iowa last night. I drove from Minneapolis. I drove to what the game calls Walcott, Iowa, what the guy who did the mod calls Walcott, Iowa. I actually did stop at the world's largest truck stop there on I-80. The I-80 truck stop. Got some snaps of that. The Walcott, what they're calling Walcott, is actually Davenport, but they don't live here, so they don't know. So I forgive them for that. But then I drove back to Washington because They're doing a great job. Don't get me wrong. The guys that are making these coast to coast mods, they're doing a great job. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's great that it's in there, but the detail of the original content is not there. You'll see. Watch last night's watch the stream from when I did Washington, or when I up until about 2 weeks ago. Watch one of those. Watch those. Look at all the details: the birds, the planes, the paragliders, or whatever. I can't think of what it is called now, off the top of my head. But there's so much detail going on the screen that it's really cool, and there's a lot of trees and a lot of pretty aesthetics. And then you go look at what I've done the last couple of nights. It's really not. It's just not as pretty. So I'm going to be spending more time in the original content. Occasionally taking a trip to. I want to see what they've done with Texas and Oklahoma, because there's a lot of cities in that particular area in the truck sim. So I'll be taking a look at that, off and on. See what it's like. More truck simulator. They said that the American Truck Simulator DLC and Steam's top selling for some reason. Yeah, because it's a great game. And end of question. 6 hours and 40 minutes, longest stream ever. Yep. About that. More about that. Drove from Salina. I actually posted that while I was driving that night. More about Fred and joining Hot Lapping. More advertising. There's not been a lot of news. One track did drop for a set of Corsa. 2018 Autodrome, Shaika, Ukraine, Kiev. Just one little picture. I don't even remember if I downloaded this or not. The track detail in the set of Corsa and rFactor 2 is really getting highly detailed. It's really getting to start really nice. These track builders are really doing a nice job of getting the track detail. This official setup guide, I think anybody who sim races, real races, this is something they should have. I've been reading a lot of their articles. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of time to read a lot of their articles, but I read as much as I can. Racer360 on Facebook is a good thing to follow. Setup guides, there's all kinds of fun stuff there. Free advertisement for you, buddies. Guys, there you go. I found this. I've not heard anybody else comment on it or anything else for NASCAR Racing 2003 season. It looks like NASCAR Fun Facts is stepping up and doing the 2019 Xfinity mod with the Supra in it. So there you go. I mean, everybody was all up in arms about what's the name of this? SRD, Sim Race Designs, canceling theirs. But when this news dropped that they were doing it, nobody said a thing. So there you go. They want it, but they don't want it. That's RF2 Ferrari Bet Challenge. I posted Bill's hot lap, and then that's what finally got Fred involved. Somebody else's hot lap other than me posting my hot lap. So there you go, Fred, Dave. There you go. If you're a member of my Facebook page group, you go ahead and look at this. This is the Des Moines Grand Prix when Trans Am ran it. It's a cool video. It's cool history. Go check it out. If not a member, join up. It's a lot of fun. That's a cool video. I enjoyed watching that video. I mean, other than the fact that it was 90s fashions and everybody looked weird, but it was cool that at one time Trans Am did come to Iowa and ran the street course. Even though in the last 10 years they have built a perfectly good road course, the only thing wrong with it is it's flat in western Iowa, and of course right now it's drying out again because it flooded. But they could come here again and race that road course, because it's a fun road course even though it is perfectly flat, because they built it on a soybean field. Of course, every once in a while we do have to post that up. We love Riverside. This, for the advertisement for what it is they're finally putting black smoke coming out of the exhaust pipes in American Truck Simulator. I don't know why they had to make a big deal about it, but I never noticed. And since there's no replay, whatever. This was Delta Sim Racing's Wednesday night race, which I did not get to participate in because my internet went out for a half an hour. Boo. More advertisement for a show. There's a time and a place for Teachers Perfectly Me, Never in the Trash. There's not been a lot of sim racing or real racing news other than Darrell Waltrip. That's the big news right now. Is Darrell Waltrip's final races this weekend at Sonoma, which is a shame because Fox's last race used to be at the Firecracker 400, and that would have been more suiting. Let him go out there instead of Sonoma. Oh well. Open wheel fun. That's the hot lap I did for that same thing and same fun. The truck, the FIA truck racing. There's not really been a lot of sim racing news. Really, seriously, nothing's. It's just plugging along, doing everybody's doing their thing, and it's just that's it. There's not a lot of racing news. The one guy did get his win in Iowa taken away for cheating. I don't comment on that, but that's not the first time people have been caught cheating at Iowa Speedway, but that's the first time a win has been taken away. Ever. Well, since the 60s. The first time NASCAR is taken. I guess they're really. Yeah. Anyway, another street car, 67 Chevelle, one of my favorites. So that's why it's posted. I believe I did download that one. That was one of my favorite cars. I just like the big old beefy, slow ass cars. Shared something for a set of courses. And here, of course, is another one, the 70 Dodge Charger. A lot of that. See that if they ever get the NASCAR or oval racing thing figured out for a set of courses, these cars are already basically the early 70s, late 60s, early 70s cars are already in a set of courses. They didn't do the messing around with the springs and whatnot and what have you back then. So you just take these stock cars, throw a NASCAR paint scheme on them, and you've got your 70s NASCAR mods. Literally, seriously, that would be so cool. They're actually race with the real drivers, esports, and Race Room Cafe and Nuremberg Ring. Kind of cool. Got to go to Nuremberg Ring, and I think that was Friday, so don't even worry about it. That's over. Excuse me. Spotter guide for today's race at. Actually, this is a race I'd rather watch. Is at Road America for IndyCar. Road America is a much nicer track than Sonoma. Pocono for a set of courses come out. I've shared some of the tracks. A lot of the NASCAR tracks that come out. None of the people I've talked to have actually downloaded and ran any of the NASCAR stuff for a set of courses. So we're assuming that a lot of these tracks are just converted NASCAR Racing 2003 tracks. My thought is they could also be, because that's what happened in rFactor, is that these are actually converted rFactor tracks, which most of those have been converted from NASCAR Thunder 2004. You didn't know they were, except for the I can't think of the dude's name. Here's more of a NASCAR mod for a set of course video, some pictures. I mean, it looks fantastic. We don't know how it drives. Eventually, we're gonna have to download it and try it. That's all I gotta say. Is we gotta download it and try it. One of these days. That's a truck actually. So, and that looks like. Actually, the front of that truck actually looks like the real thing. And that was one of the things about the Thunder, the EA Sports games. Their models were more realistic, but the physics sucked. Were worse than NR2Ks. So there you go. That's my opinion. The touring car Legends mod for rFactor was updated. The address was updated. I don't know if I downloaded this or not. I gotta double check. Because touring cars are my favorite cars. So there you go. Another advertisement for a show. Fred talking about a set of course a competition zone, which is great. I love the fact that he does all this stuff. Fred's a good buddy, good supporter, good friend support there. I love the fact he actually posts here his stuff. Everybody needs a sounding board. I thought this was a cool picture. James Gardner in the Mini showing you how damn small those things were back in the day. That moment I will post stuff about coffee. I love coffee. I'll post it here. That's call. Why his show's called Coffee with the Tigg, and not just the Tigg's talk show. Um, of course, yeah, Darrell Waltrip's retirement this weekend. Honestly, if you ask me, he should have retired about 5 years ago. You can tell that his thoughts aren't as coherent as they used to be. He kind of sounds like me, where his thoughts just aren't there anymore. But okay, we'll leave it at that. More behind-the-scenes work. New track that dropped for NASCAR Racing 2003 season. There you go. That's all I got to say about that. Another mod. I'm teasing Bill that they need painters. So there you go. It's another touring car type mod. Looks like 90s. I think I downloaded it, but I'm not sure. Another advertisement show, more screenshots. If you want to look at those, we can go look through them, but you just go to the website or Facebook and watch it. Fred talking about Canadian Grand Prix and the Lego version of it and how bad it was. I don't even watch F1 anymore. It's just become whoever gets the pole and doesn't mess up, gets the top 3 spots usually wins. There was no race resumed this week, so there's the video for last week's. We had members not show up, and I'm guessing until we have like 15, 20 members, we will be skipping events when members cannot show up. Honorary pace car driver this week, Gabriel Iglesias. He should be doing Gentlemen Start Your Engines. He should be doing the command to start the engines. I'm sorry, I think it would be funny as hell if he did that female voice that he does. I would be rolling on the floor. That thing he does. Oh my God! That I would be rolling on the floor because the man is funny. The man's excruciatingly funny. I watched some. I did get to watch some of the 24-hour Le Mans at night, and it was cool. It was cool. I don't remember the BTCC race review. More show promo. 24-hour Le Mans released down DLC for rFactor 2. So if you want a really good version of that in your rFactor 2, go get it. Probably costs like $5. I didn't look. Honestly, I don't even have my Steam booted up right now. So there you go. More King Mad Dog and his rFactor iRacing stuff. He's doing sprint cars and what a diverse thing this young man's doing. He's going from sprint cars to GT3 cars. I mean that's like 2 entirely different worlds. That's a good thing. It's really cool that you're doing that basic, different, going from that one extreme to the other. That's pretty much is what it is. It's from one extreme to the other because one's all about losing control, but hang on the edge of control while going as fast as you can. The other one's about total control, going as fast as you can. More show advertising. Yeah, I think that explains it all. I don't think we need it anymore. And then last week's show. So we're through the new. They're really, and I try really hard to keep a lookout for anything good, interesting, anything cool come up. I mean, I don't really. If you want an in-depth report of what's coming up in sim racing and all that, watch Sean Cole over to SimHead. He's got it all. I'm more informative. Just basically a cat. I wouldn't consider myself a casual fan, but I wouldn't consider myself a extremist either. I'm somewhere in the middle. So if you're like me and you just want the good stuff, see what the good stuff is, and yeah, I'm the guy to watch. But if you want that detail about every little video card and every little small game update and what they're doing behind the scenes, and they actually give him that information too. But Sean actually spends a lot of time hunting that stuff out over the internet. Go ahead and go check out Sean. He's a great guy. I wish he would give me a pat back too, but that's neither here nor there. But here we are, back to me again. As I hit on earlier, I didn't get the race at all online this week. Internet woes, and then for Delta Sim Racing, and I did want to run that track because we actually did run a nice version. John Norton's version, Wild Cars and Customs is his website. Um, he's also on Facebook. Made a nice version of Riverside after 18 years of wanting one in the sim. We finally got one, and I wanted to race it. That's one of the few times I actually wanted to race NASCAR Racing 2003 season, and my internet decided to act up. That's the way that always goes for me. I really wanted to run that race. Wanted to. I knew I wasn't going to win it. I wasn't fast at all, but I was consistent. But because we were, but at least I wanted to actually race NASCAR Racing 2003 season. That's how that happens. Um, and then of course we had a member or two take this week off. So in the Zoom race world, what we did instead was actually get the GTR2 server up and running, which is was a blast. I don't know if you can hear that. One of my neighbors is revving up their motorcycle. Um, GTR2 is a blast to run. I don't care what anybody says. It's still a great sim. We're more classic sim racers. We're not um, the latest, greatest sim. I mean, we do have them, but when it comes down to what we want to run is usually in those sims, so that's what we run. We were talking about doing a set of course a test over at Zoom. Probably when Bill comes back from vacation, we will get that done. Nobody came on Discord this morning, so no big deal. I get to talk for a half an hour. You get to listen to me talk for a whole half an hour. The next race for Zoom is still at Falkenberg. So if you have rFactor 2, rFactor 1, and you're looking for a lead to race in Saturday mornings at 10 Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, we're doing two 30 lap. I think we're still doing two 30 lap races um, with AI, of course. So at least there's something to pass, and something to do other than follow the leader. Um, Check us out. It's a lot of fun. The server should be up. I don't know if anybody joined. I didn't ask Bill when he was coming back. So this is High Bank Bill, High Bank Harrison. Um, don't know when he's coming back from his little vacation. Well, not little vacation. He deserves it. He deserves a vacation after putting up with me for the last 6 months, trying to get all this stuff rocking and rolling and stuff that we've been doing. But yeah, I'm just teasing about putting up with me. No, maybe not. So check us out. Go to if you want to check it out. Go to Stenod Racing. The link is below, um, way below all the Tigg stuff. But the link is there, and that's one of the places you can find me hanging out most of the day, on and off all day long. I need a shave too. Look at that. But that's there's that. So talk about Zoom. Oh well, American Truck Simulator. I know a lot of you guys watch that, so I do talk about that. I'll be talking about that a little bit more and more in this Sunday morning show. But I plan on running more of the in-game content. I kind of touched on this earlier, just because it's prettier. I hate to sound like I'm dissing the guys who did the Coast to Coast mod, but I'm not really. It's a lot of hard work to put the stuff in game. I understand that. I'm not dissing them for it at all. Seriously, not at all. I think it's great, and we will be taking trips uh, across the country. I talked about it last night during the stream about maybe starting somewhere as close to the coast as you can on the west coast, driving straight through the country, and winding up on the coast as close as you can to the Atlantic Ocean, and counting the cops along the way. Though I have noticed in the coast to coast mod, that there's not as many cops on the highway as there is in the standard content of the game. So we'll be doing it. And by the way, I do have a couple of semis actually sitting behind me. I've got the number 3 hauler, I've got the 48 hauler, and I've got the 43 hauler, which you cannot see any of it. But I actually do have semis in my house. I didn't. It just dawned on me just now that I actually have some semis in the house in my collection. So there you go. That's Austin Dylan's 3, not Earnhardt's 3. I actually do have semis in the house. There you go. I think they're Peterbilts too. Or they're Kenworths. I'm not sure. Anyway. I just happened to look over my shoulder, which is that shoulder. Um, and saw it sitting there. It's like, duh, you have trucks in the house. Actually, I have a dragster in the house, which is over there, which you cannot see. But if you want to see what's all in the Tigg's house, there's been a few cars added since the videos were made. But below in other Sims and fun stuff, there's a tour of my room. Of course, my room looks completely different now because I took out the one desk, but it's still, you get the general idea of how much crap I've got crammed in this 10 by 9 room. But getting back to American Truck Simulator, we'll be doing mostly Washington, Oregon. I still want to find the deer. I've seen pictures of the deer on Facebook and the Facebook groups. I've seen it a couple of times over the last week. So we're going to be driving around in Washington a lot trying to find these deer. And then, of course, we'll be running through Oregon, California, Nevada, Arizona, and New Mexico. And then, of course, we'll be running into Texas and Oklahoma, since there's a lot of detail in the coast-to-coast map there. But that's going to be the extent of what the next week in that show's going to, the truck shows are going to be, is all that stuff. Occasionally running, I may run out to Philadelphia, my hometown, where I was born and raised, lived for 24 years, just to do it. Since I ran through Iowa and I stopped. If you watch the first hour of yesterday's show, you'll hear me talk about it, because it came down from Minneapolis down 35, which seemed awful short because normally it's a 5-hour trip, but it could be because of the time, because I've actually driven that road, so I know how long it takes and what it feels like and stuff like that. And driven those two roads, and several times in the last 29 years that I've been here in Iowa, so that's why it probably seemed a little different. It's probably, so, but you'll see I kind of point out where on the highway, 20 miles north of where I live from I-80. Kind of guess because there's no exit for Newton. If you're traveling I-80 through Iowa and you see the Newton exit where the racetrack is, you just turn north and I'm 20 miles up the road. Of course, let me know you're coming so I can tell you how to precisely get to my house. I don't want any morons showing up either, but I know who I can trust. Anyway, did all that yesterday. Probably go to Philadelphia once, because looking on the map, it's not even going to be anything I recognize. Of course, even if it was accurate, I probably wouldn't recognize anyway, because I've not been home since 1997. And I'm dying for Scrapple. I need to order that off. I need to put a Buy Me Scrapple fund up there. Because I could never afford it, because it's quite expensive to have it, to buy it and ship it, just 6 pounds of Scrapple, 4 pounds of Scrapple. I think the last time I looked on Amazon, it was like 4 pounds of Scrapple for like $50. That's including shipping, and of course it's a fresh product, so it's got to be delivered pretty fast. So that's that. Don't know how I got stuck on Scrapple, but whenever I talk about home, that's like basically the first thing that pops in my head: Scrapple. And if you've never had it, you don't know what you're missing, and explaining it will never make you understand how decadently delicious this stuff is. If you like your arteries clogged in 10 seconds, that's what it is. But it's so good. That's about all I've got today. We've covered the news, what I'm doing on the shows this week. I'll try sneaking some sim racing too this week. I thought about it last week, but it's just so much easier just to jump behind the wheel of the semi and drive than it is to figure out a track and a mod and first a sim, then a mod, then a track. That's fun to watch with AI. So that's why I've not done a lot of sim racing. It's more easier to jump behind the wheel of the truck, pick a job, and go. It's a lot more easier for me. Anyway, I'd like to thank my supporters for everything they do. Again, if you'd like to become a supporter, all the information is below. Uh, Please, if you're new watching on Twitch, hit the follow button. On YouTube, hit the bell. If you want to be reminded when I come online, I'm saying this out of order. Hit the subscribe button and the like button and the bell to be reminded when I come online. Always, any new follower gets put up there until the next one, follower or. And I did get a new follower last night or yesterday when I was offline. So thank you for joining. Or is that the night before? The night before, yeah. And I think I got a new subscriber, who did not have an active. There's inactive accounts and active accounts at YouTube. If it's an active account, the name gets put up there. I did figure that much out. So inactive accounts don't, people just watch. They don't put anything up for. All you gotta do is share a video, and it's basically an active account. So I don't know how that works. Like, share, make a playlist or something like that, and then your name goes up there. But I did have one from YouTube yesterday, I think it was, when I was offline. So thank you for joining. I think I got to double check up there to make sure it's up there. But then again, neither here nor there. not any of your concern. But again, thank you for everybody who follows and watches. Without you guys, none of this would be possible. Though I think some of you might think this show's a waste of time. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy talking without having to drive for a half an hour. Actually, 40 minutes now. But that's about it. Again, thank you for watching. Thank the supporters for everything they do. Thanks to my wife for letting me do all this stuff and being my main supporter. You know who you are. I'm teasing. As always, lightheartedness goes a long way. So, I should be doing a trucker show tonight also. Like I said, it's easier to do a truck show than it is to do a sim racing show. You don't have to pick anything out, you just go. Again, I've lost my train of thought. That's insanity. With that, I will bid you adieu with my usual trademark that I'm probably going to get sued for saying eventually when I get to millions of followers. Smoke me a kipper. I'll be back for breakfast.